Hello and welcome to another episode of the Human Quotient. In a world which is gearing up to live with AI, and there are companies building innovative AI solutions, Antwork believes in the power of human capabilities, and it is our endeavor to make sure that organizations they have their human capabilities to succeed and thrive in the age of AI. And it is our endeavor constantly to bring voices from the industry, voices of people who have put years of effort into building things, building businesses at scale. And we have conversation with them about critical business challenges. And today we have two esteemed panelists, and we'll talk about something which is very, very important. Is about sales teams. What I believe is, and we all believe in, is that this is the decade. I know some say it's the century of India. So Indian growth story will continue to thrive, and it will be driven through the banking and financial sector. Uh, it is the backbone of the economy. It contributes directly and indirectly more than 40% in terms of organized sector, in terms of employment and GDP. And banks, NBFCs, you have new fintechs, asset management companies, insurance companies. They all contribute very, very heavily towards this growth of India. And the story always has been, as countries grow, these banking institutions grow as well. Right now, earlier 5 years back, we didn't have any banks in the top 50, but we have now HDFC, SBI, closer to that. But as India keeps growing, some of these banks and banking organizations will become Fortune 50, Fortune 10 companies, and there is a lot of growth. And that growth will be driven only if they are able to take their products to people, and that is done through the very important function of sales. So to discuss how do we maximize sales revenue and how do we bring the best of our sales teams, to discuss that, we have two no, very distinguished guests. So let me first welcome uh, Mr. Nagaraj. Mr. Nagaraj has 30 plus years of experience with SBI, and he was the director at SBI's Center of Learning, SBI Institute of Learning and Development. And post his SBI stint, he has been working with multiple organizations to help them shape and build capabilities. So, Nagaraj sir, welcome to this conversation, and
Thank you.
welcome to this session. And I would like to ask you, everybody talks about tools, techniques, AI, and everything to drive growth. But how do you look at growth in sales teams?
See, first let me talk to you about this industry. I mean,
Yeah.
the sales. Anyway, I'm still confused. Even though after so many years, I'm still confused with the difference between marketing and sales. Now it's getting very thin.
Yeah.
Marketing is supposed to be the very scientific, strategy, roadmap, all kinds of English words, you can put. But at the end of this thing, the sales is the one which will both, top line and bottom line of any organization. But coming to the financial services industry, especially, see, the selling a product. When I say selling a product, financial services product, whether it's a banking product or insurance product, for that matter, even a cinema ticket, even a air transport ticket, you would have seen so many aggregators, selling them. It's difficult. Honestly, it is difficult. Why? The reason is there is no sensory stimulation.
Yeah.
Let me give an example to you. Do you buy a home loan? I'm asking you, do you buy a home loan? I've never seen people in my whole 30 years saying that I have bought a loan. They said I took a loan.
Yeah.
In a sense, these sensory stimulation, because it's totally intangible product, and the kind of whatever, either the passbook or receipts or whatever, approval letter, sanction letter you give, once you read that, even there's nothing which really passionates you, which really you enjoy by it. So in financial service industry, in my opinion, Sales is the most difficult thing. Number two reason is why sales should be given. People should be highly skilled in the sales. I'll come to that little later. Is this is a crowded industry. Though there you said, there a lot of scope is there now across the segments. First is segment, consumer banking, small businesses, financial inclusion, agriculture, rural banking. Then you have the big, corporates who are highly demanding in their, requirements and all that. See, this is a crowded industry. I mean, we all know what is the four piece of any marketing, product, place, and all that, right? But here you see, product can't be seen. Place I don't go. I mean, I sit in the mobile, I do something. I can buy online today. Mummy book lagi hai 2 minute. I can buy a home loan maybe in another half an hour. I can apply for that. Maggie type the things are being sold. Place I don't go there. I don't go to the branch. Then what price? Comparatively, I don't see major difference between one bank, another bank, the price, the interest rates, or what charges, whatever. Now, who should make a difference? People should make a difference. So that is why I'm saying whether it is a pre-sale, what the software industries call, they have a team called pre-sale or a post-sale. Post-sale is much more important in the financial service industry. The reason being, you don't call them customers. Advocate doesn't call them customers. Doctors doesn't call them customers. They all call them as clients. There is a customer, consumer, client. But why do you call him a client? Because it's a cow. It's going to give you milk. But you have to take care of the cow. No, you can't just have a cow and then expect the milk to come. No, you have to take care of the health of the cow. Cow, whatever you feed it to the cow, you should give it a lot of attention. Then only you can get the milk. So that is what I'm trying to say, that it's not just, it's how do you keep your customers. That's the most important thing in the financial services industry. Over to you, Sunil.
What I understand from you is that relationship part of the sales possibly is the key differentiator, and people at the end of the day will drive sales, right? So, and let me now introduce Mr. Vivek. Vivek Sharma. He has years of experience in the organizational development space. He's currently the head of training at Avas Financiers, and prior to that, he has decades of experience in insurance industries, companies like Tata AIG and Max Bupa. So, Vivek, welcome to this conversation. And
Thank you.
so the question to you is, while we initiate this conversation, is how do we enhance the sales team's performance, right? You have been working with sales team, and as Nagaraj sir was also alluding to, is that the key differentiator in the BFSI is the product is not very differentiated. Say, you can't control the interest rates to a large extent. The key becomes the people. So how do you build teams that achieve peak performance?
No, absolutely, Sudhanshu. I think that is the key question, and we have been working with this question for. I have been working with this question for more than 20 years.
Yes.
So in 2004, I joined HDFC Life. Insurance sector was growing at that time, and there was a boom going on. And I joined in the training department. So I spent few years in the training department. I was heading the sales for North India, then same in Tata AIG and Max Bupa, and now for the last 5 years in Avas Financiers. So which is a housing finance company. Nagaraj sir alluded to home loan, and so working with insurance one side and home loan the other side. So I
Yeah.
have seen from both the sides, and the question actually remains still the same. And I think the key lies, what my realization over the years is the value that the salesperson is able to bring to the discussion. When I say value, what I'm
Hmm.
alluding to, value is if I am able to expand your perspective in certain way. So
Yeah.
if Siddhanshu, after my discussion, his perspective is expanded, or your mindset or your belief is challenged to certain extent. So until I have done that, there is no value. Because the change which has happened because of Google and because of now generative AI, chat GPT, the change which has happened is that earlier there was a knowledge premium. So maybe person working in an organization had certain insider knowledge which the customer was not privy to, and in the initial meetings at least you can share that knowledge. But today, even before I meet you, I have the knowledge on my fingertips. Now, in that scenario, if I'm meeting you, how do I challenge you? Now, one of the things that we have been training people for many years is the way that you should ask questions. Now, the problem here is that if I meet you and start asking questions to you, I'm not adding value to you at all, because the answers are with you. So until I educate you in something, until I challenge you in certain way, and until therefore the salesperson also has that ability that the value proposition is absolutely clear, the ability to add value is not there. Because if I am able to add value for half an hour to you, then you will look forward to another meeting with me. And most of the sales in BFSI sector happens over 3 or 4 calls. It doesn't happen in one call. This is exactly what we have been teaching for so many years. And when we succeed with that, the enthusiasm of the salesperson goes to the next level. And another point that I would like to add here is the role of the sales manager. Whether you call it the branch manager, whether you call it the supervisor, the sales manager plays a critical role. I'll give you a research example, which I quote in almost every training that I do. And that is a classic 1988 HBR article, Pygmalion in Management. So J. Sterling Livingstone wrote that article, and he talked about a research which was done in 1968 in US. Jacobson and Rosenthal, they did the research. They took an assessment of 1,000 students. They said that this assessment, we can tell which student has more potential than others. And lo and behold, they were able to identify 200 students. And they said that these 200 students have more potential. They will perform better going forward. And that is exactly what happened. So these 200 students actually started performing better in the exams, but this information was given only to the teachers, but not to the students. Now, here is the kicker. The kicker is that these 200 students were chosen at random. So the assessment was taken, but it was a bogus assessment because they did not choose these 200 students basis the assessment. They chose them at random and they told the teachers. But these 200 students started outperforming the others by a wide margin in real exams, even when the teachers had gone. So even when they had come to the next class. What it proved beyond a shadow of doubt is the power of expectations in driving performance. Now, J. Sterling Livingstone actually did research in 17 different organizations and found that the expectations of the supervisors, particularly the first supervisor, plays a critical role. So our focus, my personal passion project is to train the sales managers so that they can get the best performance from their team members. So these are I think the two key levers. One is the understanding of value proposition by the salesperson, the ability of the salesperson to create value in every conversation, every meeting that they have. And second is the supervisor or the manager's ability to get the best performance by raising the expectations from his team members.
Absolutely.
I would like to come in here. I would like to take from the Mr. Vivek's, the term called value. I mean, everybody talks about this. Everybody thinks value is kya hai, everybody thinks he or she knows about it. Let me come here. There's a difference between price and value. Yesterday, I went to buy a Samsung. Exactly, I'm telling you about a tangible product. I went to buy a Samsung washing machine. The price was quoted to me about 37,000 rupees with all kinds of, all kinds of features which I loved it. Of course, I may not use it, but I loved it. What happened when I went to the sales guy? Let me tell you, it took 2 hours to basically try to, swipe my credit card in Chroma store. I have a complaint. You can see my LinkedIn. I've written very big about it. 2 hours, 6:15 I entered the store. 8:45 they couldn't finish it. Just billing. I mean, their issue was with their paying lab machine, whatever. I came back fed up. 2 hours I spent it. Price was good. Value was not there. My 2 hours, was very important for me because I had another meeting. Next day I went into a Bosch store. 47,000, 37, 47, 10,000 extra price I paid. and product is actually just behind me. It's delivered just now, and 6 o'clock is coming and installing it. So let me take this with this. Let me explain to you what is the definition of value when Vivek says, how do you put again in the financial services industry? I would suggest, I would strongly recommend the sales, whichever level he is there, customer perceived value. What is the
Yes.
perception? Here, heterogeneous. I'll tell you an example to you when I was a branch manager. A 60-year-old guy comes to me, wants me to do something. I do it in 5 minutes because I'm an expert, my systems are. But he doubts that this work was not done properly because it was done in 5 minutes, because he wanted his expectation, and he came with an expectation that it will take about half an hour. I can chat with people in the bank, but the work was done in 5 minutes. A 20, 30-year-old guy comes for the same work, account opening, for example, but I take about 10 minutes for him. He says it is too long, 10
Yeah.
minutes both in area. I mean, this is same work, same service. Some by guy, was done 10 minutes, but he says, kuch gadbad hai isme, itni jaldi kar diya. So
Yeah.
heterogeneity is there. This is unique character of this industry. Number two, inseparability. Inseparability is the most important thing which a service sales guy should remember. I'll tell you, products or services are being consumed when it is produced. I'll
Yeah.
underline bold red. Services are being consumed when it is being produced. I go to a barber, he is doing the hair cutting or whatever for me. I'm not an expert, in hair cutting, but I can tell you whether he is doing a proper work or not. Somebody comes to, I go to a sales guy, goes to a person to offer a home loan or an investment product. He doesn't know anything about the home loan, but that guy is a good observer. He can tell you whether you are doing the explaining the product properly, whether you are giving me the checklist properly, and he can jump into conclusion that and tick mark good or bad, and he will decide not to buy. Let me give you another example. A guy came to me, insurance guy. I know Vivek is here about insurance person, worked. I do a lot of what is called as marketing, which I just do just like mock marketing. I just want to experience it. Insurance guy, I called one of the sales guy from the HDFC Life Insurance came to my house. I just tell him, boss, my daughter is so and A so and so, suggest an insurance. Good, highly knowledgeable about the product. This is called mystery shopping, which I do, mystery shopping.
Hmm.
Everything explained. I was thrilled. All right, this guy, he had more knowledge, about that product than me, though I am into fin. Finally, what happened? I said, why don't you write to me and give me? I don't believe in brochures and all. Brochures are all very colorful. I want in writing. You know what he did? My close relative's invitation cover was lying on that tea table, coffee table. He took it. Backside, he started writing it. I said, please get up. Nonsense. You please get up. That's my close relative's invitation card. Backside, you are writing. It is a paper for you. For it's an invitation. Very good. As you said, value. Let me explain you the definition of value. What is value? Benefits minus cost is value. Benefits, what I get, minus the cost which I pay is equals to the value. Is it now surplus? Now, what are the benefits? Product benefit, because every product has a feature,
Yeah.
product benefit, person benefit, the person, sales guy who is giving, as Vivek was rightly saying, is he bringing that value? That benefit. Organization, image benefit. Even the organization you have to put in. So product, price, person, image benefit. Cost, price cost, time
Yeah.
cost. As I said yesterday, 2 hours, time cost. I did not bother about 10,000 rupees. From time cost, what happens? Psychic costs. I developed negative opinion about Chroma. I wrote, and 6,000 people have seen that. 6,000 hits for my post. I don't think about even 1,000 people may not go to Chroma from tomorrow. So what I'm trying to say is psychic cost. I have no negative opinion about the Chroma. Maybe that's one time. So this is what I thought. I'll just bring in what a salesperson should understand. And next is, this work is a repetitive work. I am a home loan sales team guy. I only sell home loans. I keep doing the repetitive work, day after day. But how do I keep my energy levels very high? Like
Yeah.
Vivek is a trainer, I am a trainer, I'm a consultant. I keep doing the same thing, repeating it day in and day out. Do I keep my energy levels are very high? Do not, because this is repetitive work can bring in me boredom. But how do I keep my energy levels? This is very important for the sales guys. Over to you, Sudhanshu.
No, both these perspective are so important because see, just the value you spoke about customer perceived value. It is about you understanding your customer. Unless until you understand what is value for that customer, you cannot create that value. And that value comes after understanding that customer and creating a solution that brings value to him. But let's me move to the other part that Nagaraj sir, you spoke about, that I do things repeatedly as a salesperson, things which people might not think it is very glamorous to say. You have to do calls every day, you have to visit people every day, it's the same solution you're doing again and again. There is another aspect of salesperson which is about resilience, which is about finding that motivation in getting things done. That is something that I would like to talk. And say, Vivek, one thing is you spoke about the role of a sales manager. That is also very, very important. But let's talk about these two things. One is, as a manager, what could be my role to keep my team motivated, keep making sure that my team does the things that are required on a day-to-day basis. How do I make sure that my team is resilient? And the other part of that is, as a salesperson myself, the no, how do I make sure that I am motivated enough? Because we all know that, if the conversion rates, you do 100 calls, even if 10 people buy from you, are a great person, a great salesperson, which means 90 people have rejected you. How do you handle rejections also as a salesperson? These are the couple of things that I would like to talk to. And what is it that you tell your teams, from a both from an individual perspective and as a manager?
Is it question to
So,
Vivek? Yeah.
Yeah, we can start, and then Nagaraj, so you can take it over from there.
I think no, absolutely a great question. How do you keep yourself motivated and the team motivated, particularly when you are in the sales?
Yeah.
So I think one there are two three things here which are critically important. One is the role of stress. You talked about resilience. Now, in stress, there is some the emerging findings in stress are really interesting. So there is a
Mhm.
great book, The Upside of Stress by Kelly Mogninal, and there is a very good TED talk also. And I
Mhm.
utilize it in many programs that I do. Because, for example, the stress, if you perceive stress, the mindset that you have about stress actually ensures whether you are be able to bounce back, whether you will actually perform better, and whether it will add to the performance or not. Let me give you an example. So there is a fantastic research that she quotes in her book.
Mhm.
There is this professor, and he believes that stress is actually giving you, energy for performance. And at the ripe age of 53, I was taking an exam. There is a exam by International Finance Corporation on green homes. It's a
Mhm.
very difficult exam. Many of my teammates in Avas actually had appeared for three times and failed, and they gave this you know this objective to me कि sir आप इसको करके pass करो, and unfortunately I said yes, but then I had to take the exam. I had to go to Gurgaon, and fortunately I was reading this book. Now the point about it is that, if for example, before any exam, before any presentation, before meeting a client, before an important review meeting, if you tell to yourself that this stress that I am feeling, that stress will work is working with me to so that I can perform better. So that is a challenge response. You will perform better. So this professor Jamie Damian, when he did this research, one third of the students, he said that this is, stress is working for you. One third, he said that you have to calm down, and one third, he did not say anything. That was a control group. The group that he said that this stress is working for you, and they were the ones who performed better, and they were the
Mhm.
ones, though they felt the stress, but they were able to perform better. So I think one critical takeaway which is there from this research, and which I use in the training programs also, is how do you perceive stress?
Yeah.
Because in
You're
sales,
really.
stress is an inseparable part. Your relationship to stress, your mindset about stress. So if that mindset about stress is that stress is there to help me and it will help me to perform better, then those butterflies you are able to embrace and you are able to perform better. That is number one. Number two, I was asked this question. So second part is that you drive a lot of energy from your values, your strengths, and your values. So again,
Mhm.
research says that, for example, if you have to go into, if you are feeling demotivated, or if you have to go to an important client call, in the morning for 15 minutes, if you write down about your values, if you write down about your strengths, that will not only give you energy, but that will help you to perform better, and that will help you to come out. So that's a very
Yeah.
important point. So this is a very simple intervention which people can do. Third is about posture. So there is a fantastic book Annie Cuddy has written on presence. I am a voracious book reader, as you can make out, and a TED talk also. If you are not a book reader, you can watch the TED talk. Annie Cuddy's TED talk is brilliant. It has been watched by more than 2 billion people. So when you watch the TED talk, what you learn, she's a professor at Harvard, your posture plays a critical role. If I
Yeah.
ask you, Sudhanshu, that you make your posture, because your physiology affects your psychology. So if you want to change your way you think to change the way you feel, it is more difficult. But if you change the way you stand, that would actually change the way you think and the change the way you feel. So that's a much simpler, process. What I'm trying to say here, if I ask you to, sit down like a person who's depressed, who's looking down, and you change your posture like that, in a few minutes you will start getting negative thoughts. You will start getting thoughts like, why am I doing this? Why ain't walk? What is the meaning of human quotient? Who is listening? After some time, all is futile. And on the other hand, if your posture is positive, if it is confident, there are two hormones which are there. One is testosterone, second is cortisol. Testosterone has to
Mm.
go up, and cortisol has to go down. So absolutely, that is the best performance indicators. So you are not harried, you are not flustered, you are performing at the top of your game. So you get your testosterone up by your posture, by even doing yoga asanas. So there are asanas like Bhujangasana, which you do in the morning, your testosterone will remain up throughout the day. The Surya Namaskar that you do already has the Bhujangasana into it. And also cortisol you get down by doing some other asanas, by some doing some pranayam, like let's say Bhastrika, or even Brahmari pranayam, proven research. So, and the final thing that I tell the salespeople is, there is nothing else which will motivate you more than your past successes. So you maintain a success diary, which means that there have been times when you have, against the odds, you have won, you have
Mm.
converted club calls, you have got the clients. You start writing about that, because you can be inspired by someone, but you will be motivated by the success that you have got. And whenever you are down, you read that. So, in nutshell, there are three things that you do. One, think, write about your values, your strengths. First of all, change your mindset about stress.
Yeah.
Write down about your values. Work on your posture. Do some pranayam and yoga and meditation exercises.
Yeah.
And third, maintain a motivational diary about your own successes. That can help you motivate. Thank you.
Now, let me put this question to Nagaraj. And, what you spoke about, maybe this is another discussion that we can have. Now, we talk about emotional stress for salespeople, but there is this physical part of your physiology and, even yoga that you have brought in. But Nagaraj said there is a question that is there that has come from YouTube. And
Yeah, I can see it here.
I'll put this again. So, what is the role of a sales manager? And let me put this context, especially say in housing finance sales, the churn, the attrition that is there. In some, I know there are companies which have upwards of 40% in terms of attrition in sales teams, right? So how do I keep the value intact? And that is one part of it. But in terms of sales teams, grooming, motivation, let's start from the role of a sales manager in your perspective. What is the role of them? And then we can possibly take the question in the comment as well.
Yeah. See, first thing I would like to say, you use the word called, rejections.
Yeah.
What's the word no for a salesperson? What do you mean by it? Everybody doesn't buy bus. You should see the roadside flower, lady. I don't know how many no's she will hear. If you walk on any streets, the ladies, housewives, very poor ladies selling, garlands. She keeps asking every guy passing by, "Do you please buy flowers?" She requests, not even she requests. How many times you have bought? You tell me. I mean, you may not need the flowers, but at least to help her. I don't know how many no's she will hear from morning till evening, whatever 5 6 hours she sits there. You tell me what is a no for her. I asked one lady, I asked, in Bangalore, I asked, what do you, why don't you get, dejected by this no? She says, no problem. No is next opportunity for me. If this guy says no, I can ask the next guy coming. Otherwise, I have to sell to this. See, new opportunity. A sales guy should know that a rejected, at least I could meet that guy person. Maybe he has a reservation. Maybe he didn't like me as a salesperson. But that no is a new opportunity. That's how, we are a new next opportunity. I can go and knock on the other door, right? Otherwise, I would not have done that. Number two is, I'll give an example to you which I went through.
Mhm.
Perseverance. Perseverance.
Yes.
This is the 10 years back which happened. Oxford group, Bangalore, they were trying to start a medical college. We came to know, me and my senior boss came to know that they are starting. I'm sure a medical college needs crores of rupees, maybe about 50 to 80 crores. Good opportunity to knock on the door, because one sale of 50 crores, if I sell a loan, even 6 months, the bank could earn good money, right? We went there. You know what happened? Please listen to me very clear. This really, even now, I'm thrilled. We go and see the personal secretary to meet the chairman about this. Personal secretary goes inside, checks whether he's free, and comes up, no, chairman is busy, come tomorrow. Kannada we say Nale ba, that, like that, tomorrow. But once I got a doubt, 4 days we went continuously, every day at 5 o'clock in the evening after the office, we just knocked. Every day we were getting that, come tomorrow. Then one day I was thrilled. What is he busy? Chairman, is the owner. What is, I peeped into that, hole, door hole, peeped. He is reading newspaper, boss. I, I asked this lady secretary what happened. She said, "No, sir, boss busy means boss is busy. I cannot, allow you inside." Chalo, perseverance. 15 times we went and he said, "No, I'm busy." 15 times, almost every alternate day we went. 20th time he asked us to come inside. "Who are you guys, man? I'm trying to kick you out. You are still coming." We said, "See, we are bankers, big bank." He said, "Whatever is the interest rate," he said, "since you have come 20
Buddy,
times
I'll
to
call you
me,
back.
I will take 50% of my
I'll
requirement
call you,
from
huh?
you." Out of 50 crores, he took about 20 crores loan. He said, "Because you have come 20 times, अरे इतना patience आपके पास है, I am going to take some loan from you, if not full, even though I know other bankers." See the perseverance. You got a big ticket loan. This is what I'm saying is, all rejections, fine. It's all happens on the way. And number two is
Yeah.
perseverance. When I will come
Yeah.
to this question, which is there in the YouTube, churning. Yes, it happens. Yes,
Sure.
everybody works for money, boss. Everybody works for a good salary. Everybody wants to lead a good life. But how do you, try to reduce that attrition? Because the churning, people keep changing, is not a good thing for the person, not a good thing for the organization too. But
Mhm.
the manager who is responsible, who manages his team, for example, do he talks only business to them? Yes, 24 hours you go and talk about budgets, achievements, how many people you met. You give me an Excel sheet. What is what do you call that? That sheet red. What is red in color? Which is blue in color? Which is green in color? Excel sheets. All sales guys go with this, and I see in hotels whenever there is a review meeting, everybody is working on their Excel sheets. How do I make everything green? But do you have
Mhm.
coffee side table chart with them? Do you, have something called as, what is that, chai pe charcha? How many times the sales manager spoke to them about, I'm not getting into too personal things, at least something which he can open up, because he may have certain issues. He may have some personal issues which is maybe hindering, his performance. Maybe, yes, Scott, I'll tell you the ask, attitude, skill, knowledge. I don't say
Mhm.
case, I say ask. In any sales, attitude and skill is important. Knowledge is not at all important. I know I don't know about housing loan. I'll give it a guy one example in Bangalore. He doesn't know anything about housing loan, and he is the highest sales guy. Why? He speaks so much to people, gets connected to people, and people will tell you, I want this guy to come and take. He doesn't know anything about housing loan. He checks, he calls every time, goes to the customer, calls, he buys time, calls, hey, ye bolo kaisa hai? If two joint owners has to take a property, what documents I should take? He doesn't know. Basic things he doesn't know. But इसका ये इतना अच्छा है, attitude and skills, the communication, whatever, listening skills, all that kind of skills, he is able to sell much more than the person who has got huge knowledge. उतना housing loan का circular, whatever product, the brochure, or the every page he knows, but he is not able to sell. So what I'm trying to say is that the churning part, the question which has come here is how the sales manager or the boss has connected to the salesperson. Yes, incentives, rewards are all works to some extent, but it doesn't work on for a longer time. This is my opinion.
And the part that you were talking about also is that now Gen AI has made information available to everybody, right? Say for example, and we were talking about Gen AI and other things. Now there are apps who can go through thousands of pages of document and give you the answer in a second. What are the rates? How? What is the repayment? What documents you need? Product knowledge will become available for everybody, but it is how you use that, the relationship that you build with the person, that possibly. And then we'll talk about relationship building in the next question. And also, the value presentation as sales managers, why I can share one of my incidents. I was in Calcutta, posted in government banking division that time at ICICI Bank. We met the DM, and DM was okay for the deal, but there was a accountant, I think from the finance division. He had to pass it, and he came to me and saying that, hey, I am facing a issue with the credit card of ICICI Bank. Can you help me? And I was like, I am in a corporate banking division. How can I take care of his credit card issues? I tried a bit, but I couldn't. And because credit card at ICICI was a different entity at all. For 6 months, that person, despite his boss's answers, despite his boss's go ahead, he did not let me till the time we could fix the issue. And finally, after 6 months, we closed that deal. I still remember it was related to, I think, uh, girl child getting a cycle or something. There is a scheme in West Bengal that goes. It was a big account for us, but it took us 9 months to close it because 6 months an accountant delayed. So it is about also your relationship that you. Yes, yes, Vivek.
Before we proceed further, I would like to make three quick points
Yeah.
on the subject before we close it. One is about a point that I would like to make to what Nagaraj very great anecdote that he shared about persistence. And I
Yeah.
think one of the great researches there, one of the work which has been done is by Dr. Martin Seligman, and he talks
Mm,
about learned optimism. So when we talk about resilience, when you talk about what makes a great salesperson great, it is also
mhm.
the story that the salesperson tells himself or herself.
Yeah.
Because we talked about rejection. So what happens is that if there is a rejection which happens, let us say you are going and trying to sell insurance and this person doesn't
Mm,
buy, or a home
mm,
loan and he doesn't buy. Now, a person who will not be successful is one who will tell a story, who will make it permanent. So this episode has happened, he will make it permanent. कि यार ये कभी मैं बेच ही नहीं सकता. Or and he will make it permanent, he will make it personal. I am not a good salesperson. On the other hand, so permanent, personal, and so Dr. Seligman found that the story that successful salespeople tell themselves is not permanent. They make it impermanent. They make it impersonal. So they will say that this person never had the funds to take insurance. He wasted my time in 3 meetings. And not only that, he actually did a very good research in MetLife, Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, which was one of the largest life insurance company in the US. So he
mm,
selected a group of agents based on only this assessment that he created, the optimism assessment. And these people who got selected through this optimism assessment, who had high level of optimism, because optimism is what? Optimism is that tomorrow will be better than today. When
Yeah.
Nagaraj sir talked about that flower lady, ultimately what is it? It is that if my average is 1:5, if five people I meet and one I convert, if I am getting four rejections, it means that I'm getting closer to the real customer. So that is optimism. And the
Yeah.
story that what the salespeople tell, that is so critical. And I train the salespeople in changing that story, because the reason the book name is Learned Optimism is obviously optimism can be learned if you are able to change the story that you are telling yourself. So what is the story that you tell yourself when you get rejected? I think that has a important bearing. The second point that I would like to quickly make it is again about value, because before we move ahead, you talked about problem solving, customer perceived value. You
Mm.
know, Steve Jobs, I consider a great salesperson, not a marketing person, but mainly a salesperson. And if you just see the iPhone launch, so when iPhone actually came in the market, Nokia was there, but he launched iPhone in such a way. I used to
Yeah.
love my BlackBerry. I was in love with my BlackBerry. 9 years I was wedded to my BlackBerry. But even I had to change. Today, every phone which is there doesn't have a QT keyboard.
Yeah.
Because if you see that, you go to YouTube, more than 20 lakh people have seen that YouTube video. Just watch that video. What is he doing? He is making you not like the status quo. He is telling you that QWERTY keyboard is the problem, and touch phones are the way to go, and your fingers will work, and therefore the entire screen will be there for you. This is what great salespeople are able to do. So if you are able to make the person uncomfortable with the status quo, because your biggest competition is status quo. If a person is living in a rented apartment, if you have to sell a house loan, the biggest competitor is the rented apartment that is living in the status quo. So that status quo you have to change, and there is resistance towards that. So until you make the person, the emotions which you have to generate, the first emotion that you have to generate is the emotion that you are not okay with the status quo,
Yeah.
and then a positive emotion that if you take some action, then what is going to the benefit of that. Great salespeople are able to leverage both these emotions in this order. I think that's the key in terms of generating the value. So whenever you are selling something, that is the key. And finally, about this housing loan churn is obviously there. There are opportunities, and people do jump for even 5,000 rupees. That is the truth. So what actually is the message? The message is two things. One, from the organizational perspective. Second is from the manager's perspective. Every manager who has to be a great manager has to become a great coach. So if you are not a great coach, if you cannot train a person and you cannot coach a person well, then you will not be a great manager. You may be a great salesperson. So
Mm.
if you want, there will be churn obviously, but you need to keep training your people. From an organizational perspective, you need to have a good training department. So and leverage technology.
Here, I just want to add few things here.
Yes, sir.
All of you know that, except the insurance, when is Mr. Vivek was talking about insurance, how is it easy to sell insurance? Again, private industry, again, people are saying that a lot of scope, but still people are uninsured, people are there. You tell me from your own, just thought process, interactions from your own close friends and relatives, whatever, except the statutory insurances which are mandatory for a vehicle which you have to buy, otherwise you'll be, penalty of
Yeah.
1,000. Tell me how many people buy insurance on their own, even they know that they need it.
Yeah.
That means there is a necessity. But did you buy your insurance knowing that went or sat there, researched and bought it? No, was sold to you. It was sold to you, though you had a necessity. Please remember, people
Yeah.
love to buy, hate to be sold. This is understatement, which every salesperson should underline, bold, red, maybe put it in the sales department. People love to buy, hate to be sold. So salesperson should take that customer bought it. Let the salesperson lose the battle. Customer should feel that wow feeling, I bought it. Number one. Number two, somebody asked me, sir, what is the benefit of insurance? मैंने ऐसे की बोला एक बार मर के देखो. मैंने ऐसे की बोला एक बार मर के देखो ना. मैं वन ऑफ माय ट्रेनिंग सेशन somebody asked, sir, how do I sell, how do I explain the benefit? मैंने बोला एक बार मर के देखो, आज इंश्योरेंस ले लो, कल मर जाओ. 1 करोड़ एक दिन में आ गया. That is the benefit. But can you go and explain the same thing to the customer? He will kick you out. Now, but that is the real benefit. You can't mix words. But this is where the skill of the salesperson comes. how do I, आगे भी और जिंदगी के आगे भी पीछे भी, whatever, that's real statement, but how do you make it? So this is what I was trying to, take it
So
from
the
Vivek.
common grounds is the status quo bit of it is one thing that so Vivek said was how do you make that person challenge the status quo with what he or she is living, and then that buying decision has to be theirs. There's not that I can force you to buy something. uh, that decision of buying has to come from the customer, right? And Vivek, you brought about the role of L&D. I would like to make it slightly bigger than that, saying that how do organizations, especially sales folks, a lot of people come to us, and when we, because at Antwerp we work with close to 100 plus enterprises. One thing that I constantly hear from HRs and others also is that training or teaching salespeople is slightly difficult. Okay, you both of you have done that for some time. So let me ask you this question: how do you create a sense of continuous learning in sales teams? So Nagaraj said we can start with you, and Vivek, you can
Yeah,
add to it.
yeah, yeah. I think he's the right person to answer that question also.
Okay, then we can start with
I,
Vivek. See, Vivek.
I have been doing it for 20 years. In
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
DFC Life, when I was there, we used to do a 5 day training program. It was called
Okay.
Disha. It used to start
Hmm.
on a Monday and on a Friday evening, and there was a lot of resistance. But I used to tell the managers, and we used to tell the managers that just get this person Monday morning. If they come on Monday, and they used to, by the way, cajole these people by telling कि अरे खाना अच्छा होगा, lunch is good, banai kofta is there in the menu. So,
Uh-huh.
but once they come on a Monday morning, then they won't leave till Friday. Even very recently, I was doing a program for senior LIC people, which was like the top chairman's club. And so, if the program has value, the next day, I received a SMS from a WhatsApp message from a person there. He lost someone, but still he came late by 1 hour, but he came to the program. So one of the things which I have learned, it is wrong to say that salespeople don't want to learn. They want to learn if it is practical, if it is applicable, and it will make a discernible impact in their life.
Yeah.
So challenge for any training department, the training function or L&D function is how do you make the program relevant, practical, and applicable. I think that is the challenge because salespeople love to learn, but they love to learn what will they can apply tomorrow. You
Yeah.
give them conceptual gyan, you give them and today with WhatsApp everyone is PhD already, then they are not interested. So you have to make the program practical, you have to make it an immersive experience. They need to be able to do role plays, they need to be able to go through case studies, they need to be able to apply that learning. And the learning has to be based on research or at least proven methodologies.
Yeah.
So first, because first, and you again here when we talk about value, you have to challenge them first because you have to create that gap for learning. They have to be open. Because when they will come, they will not be open to learning. But you have to
Yeah.
create that gap, then they become teachable. And this is what I have discovered. I cannot explain it in words, but
Hmm.
uh, my experience is completely the opposite. I
Okay.
have never seen a dropout from a salesperson in the program. Never. They are there in the program. They are there for the full time. They want to take advantage of it. They want to attend they don't, they want to attend practical, relevant, and applicable programs. That is my experience. And I thank my stars that I was taught by the best, and therefore we learned, and we were able to replicate that.
Absolutely. And Nagaraj, would you like to add anything? Then
Yeah,
proceed.
I want to. I want to. I mean, thanks. Vivek spoke about more of the soft skills, what learns and all that. Yes, but I have something which we used to do, and I mean, I also recommend that this should be done through exercises. Like, I'll ask you a question. Tell me, I go again. Let's take the example of a camera or a washing machine. You are trying to sell me.
Mhm.
Yesterday, you started explaining to me that Dasar it takes a capacity of 8 kgs, 10 kgs, it is 5-star rating and all. I said that these are all specs. These are all specifications. यार तुम क्या बताना चाहते हो? मैं पढ़ूंगा ना 10 kg लिखा है इतना. It was written in Arial font 8-10 size. वो बोला my machine. What big deal in that? I told him that you have kept a motor which can take the capacity of 10 kg. It's okay, but big specs है. Somebody said, the car is what is that electronic steering है. बोला उसमें वो feature है. This is what a salesperson should do. How do you fab? How do you convert those features into advantages and benefits? Because the features remains the same. The feature of a banking product or insurance product or any product remains the same. Specifications doesn't change. But how do you convert those features into advantages and benefits and explain to the customer? Let's say the washing machine. I asked Sudhanshu, how many people, what is the size of your family? Sudhanshu says about, let's say, 4 people. Then I assume, for 4 people, 6 to 7 kg per day, or if you are alternating, I'll recommend, sir, take 8 kgs. Then Sudhanshu, though he is very intelligent, it hits him on the right, emotional side, saying that, yeah, ये थोड़ा logic से बता रहा है, it's not that he is talking about 8 kg. What is the use of that 8 kg to me? What is the use of electronic steering? You can negotiate the traffic in Bangalore roads easily without much effort. That is what I'm trying to say, is that can you convert that advantage? A recurring deposit is a recurring deposit. But every month you go and deposit some installment. That's all simple. No, any fellow can understand this. But what are the advantages? How do I sell a recurring deposit to a chartered accountant? Chartered accountant is a highly financially literate guy. He can tell you what is CAGR, everything. But I have gone and sold a recurring deposit to a chartered accountant, monthly 50,000 installment. Because I sold him as a forex product. I said it's an option. I sold it as an option product to him. I didn't never said it's a recurring deposit. He said, "यार ये बहुत अच्छा है." मैं बोला feature the same है. Recurring deposit 50 rupees fee same. So what I'm basically trying to emphasize here is, can your salesperson trying to convert those features and advantages and benefits to the customer, depending on the segment of that customer, literacy of that customer. This is the most important, which apart from the soft skills, communication, and then energy, all that, this is should be very very important, and this should be hands on. They should do it and present it. So the practice becomes more important. That start to ideate, innovate. How do I present advantages and benefits? Because features, nobody understands the features. How many features of your mobile you have used? Many of them you may not even know that such a feature is there in your mobile. So that's what I'm trying to emphasize here.
It takes me to that video I'd seen of a lady trying to buy a frying pan, but she was
Yeah.
trying to see how robust it is by trying to. So people don't buy products; people want solution to their problems. And
Okay.
if you
Exactly.
can understand the problem of the customer, then you can the customer value proposition that we spoke about. That can be
So,
brought across.
Subhanshu, I'll just add one point to that. So
Yes.
when you are saying understand the problem of the customer, when I refer to the iPhone launched by Steve Jobs, please understand it is not only about understanding the problem, it is about understanding an unanticipated problem of the customer.
Yeah.
So the people who had QWERTY keyboard, people who were using BlackBerry, they were never aware that there is this problem, that when an update happens in a software update, now because of the QWERTY keyboard, the phone that you are having is already obsolete. Why? Because the update is not happening. Now and he's talking, and he's also looking at the values of the people that he's talking to. So when he's talking to people who want to be on the cutting edge of technology, and suddenly that they are told that the phone that they have in their pocket is already obsolete, now you have created an opportunity.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm making here is that it is not only the problem of the customer. If you are able to identify a problem of the customer which the customer is not aware of, when Nagaraj talked about the CA and selling recurring deposit, maybe the recurring deposit was answering a problem of that CA which he was not aware of also. Then you are really adding value. And the second point that I would like to add here is, it is also critically important. There are two principles of persuasive communication. The one principle of persuasive communication is people value more what they say rather than what they are told. So when Nagaraji said that people love to buy but hate to be sold, this principle says that, boss, if you tell people something, they will resist. So there is going to be a reactance which is going to come. So if I say, then please take this product, it's a great product, they will resist and they will try to find loopholes. And the second principle of persuasive communication is that people value more what they ask for. So, from a sales perspective, if you are able to set up the conversation in such a way,
Mm-hmm.
one, that they are asking for something, and secondly, they are saying something and adding value, then you are succeeding. So, solving an
Absolutely.
unanticipated problem, making them say what what the USP that you want to bring in, and third, making them ask for something. I think that is the key for great salespeople.
Absolutely fascinating conversation, gentlemen, and I'll be cognizant of your times as well. It's a Friday evening. I would like to wrap this up at 6, but the conversation has got me thinking, and no, we need a follow up on this to continue this conversation. Uh, but at Antwerp, we have helped organizations build sales capabilities, and we work with multiple companies, and I have had the pleasure of interacting both of you with both of you on those things. We have a comprehensive solution when it comes to sales performance, right from ICs to the senior sales leaderships. So, and it will be consistently over the uh, in the future. We'll keep bringing these beautiful, wonderful conversations with give nuances. Say, for example, this optimism assessment, which we got a comment as well, that people love that bit of it. The how you what you say how you look at yourself. You are the story you tell yourself. So it is the relationship with stress, relationship with sales. It is the story that you tell yourself. So it's a lot about mindset as well. So apart from the product knowledge that Nagaraj has said, that product possibly is the same. It is your articulation. It is your solutioning. It is you understanding your customer. You challenging that person to challenge the status quo, unearthing something that you not know. So no, there are areas known, known, and known, and known. There are multiple things, right? So being a salesperson, for me, sales is an art, right? And sales possibly is the highest paying, I would say, profession in the world, because the best people whom we know, right from Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, apart from whatever they did, they were brilliant, brilliant salespeople, right? So for all those who have tuned in, uh, no, sales is a wonderful career, and we spoke about India will continue to grow in the coming years. So sales is a wonderful career for people to follow up. So in the next couple of minutes, if I can have a closing thought from both of you, for me it was a very interesting and fascinating conversation. A lot of learnings for myself. But Nagaraj, what is your thought? If salespeople or even HR L&D people who are tuning in on creating sales programs, what is it that you will say, that how do you build great sales team? Your final closing comments.
So I am a book advocate. I have already
Yes.
quoted a few books today, and I would really, advocate that please read. So there, because there are some great books which are based on valid research, which can
Yes.
help you to elevate yourself, which can help you to inspire yourself. There are three books that I will talk about. One is Mindset, because Sudhanshu, you spoke about mindset. There's a book Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. And
Hmm.
when Satya Nadella became head of Microsoft, the first thing that he did after becoming CEO is he gave this book to all his CXOs and said that you have to read the book, and 1 week later you have to make a presentation. So,
Hmm.
Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck, which talks about growth mindset, is one book that I will recommend. Peak by Anders Ericsson is the
Hmm.
second book that I will recommend, which will help any salesperson not only to learn, but learn about learning itself. So Anders Ericsson is that researcher who has given the 10,000 hour rule, which Malcolm
Hmm.
Gladwell actually popularized, but Anders Ericsson did the original research. So please read Peak by Robert Poole and Anders Ericsson. And the third book I've already mentioned, Martin Seligman, Learned Optimism. So if
Yeah.
you want to be great in sales, I will recommend please read these three books. Your entire mindset will expand, it will shift, and it will elevate. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vivek. Nagaraj, sir, your thoughts, sir.
Any sales guy, I only take the customer from the past. Any customer is a suspect first. You suspect
Hmm.
whether he'll buy or not. I'm approaching him. Convert that suspect into a prospect.
Hmm.
Prospect to the customer. Sell the product. That's a ladder of loyalty. Then from customer to make him a friend, that's post sale service, relationship building. From the friend to the take him to the partner. Let me tell you, the partner is the last stage in that, in financial services industry, especially. When I used to be heading a branch of a big commercial branch, when I'm not meeting my budgets, I can just call a customer who was banking with me more than 6 years, and I can share my all pains with him. I said I'm low on the budget on deposits. He will tell me how much I want. I say 5 crores. Don't worry, tomorrow it will be there with you. I can share my pains with my partner, and he will help me out in getting 5 crore deposits in a day. So from prospect to the partner, I call it as a P2P, prospect, customer, friend, partner. This is a ladder of loyalty, how you take your customers, and it's not an easy journey.
So great, wonderful conversations. What we'll do is, when this video goes on YouTube, the book suggestion, the ideas coming from Nagaraj sir will consolidate in the comments, and would love to see if people can add value through the comments on the YouTube or on the LinkedIn Live, wherever you are joining from. But to both of you, thank you so much. Sales is a, well, it's such a huge ocean, and I understand that every salesperson, Nagasa spoke about that, they want to succeed in their careers, and them changing jobs also is the kind of, you want to go ahead in terms of money, positions, and other things. But at the end of the day, every professional wants to be successful, and whe- everybody wants to achieve the best that they can, and whatever role as HR or L&D or sales manager or Antwalk we can play in making them achieve what they deserve is what we should all be trying for. Sales is the driver of all organizations. If there is no sales, there are no organizations. So with that thought, thank you so much. There is a long weekend coming in many part of the organization, of the country. So have a good weekend, and thank you so much, Vivek. Thank you so much, Nagaraj sir, for joining in this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sudhanshu.
Vivek.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Nagaraj.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank